Hey everybody, excited to have this live and talk a little bit about some of the developments that's happening and that has happened this week with some pretty amazing people. And I know it takes a little bit of time to have people come in, so I'm going to talk just at a high level about some of that, but I might need to repeat some of it. And Nell isn't going to be able to be with us. She's actually in bed right now trying to sleep. But the week's been pretty amazing. As I think back on the day that we got the news that Nell's denials with the insurance were coming back, she was in such a, as you can imagine, state of despair and kind of hopelessness because we had been denied before with the same medical necessary surgery. Hey Misty, thanks for joining. I was hoping I could get Misty. Hoping I could get you live. I'll have plenty of time for that next week. Nell's sleeping, and I just wanted to pop on here. Didn't announce that we were going live, so we might not get a lot of people that joins. But this is something that's going to be recorded and uploaded to YouTube. And even if it's just like a 15-minute, 30 minutes, I want to talk about a little bit about what has been happening behind the scenes with Misty and I and Mandy, um, and also with in preparation for the live um, next week. One of the things that I would like to have is got an iPad that we can pull in someone and have them kind of be included. So, not all fancy. I don't have like a wall monitor, but we'll see how that plays out. Santa had reached out to me, and I'm trying to see if he can do something with some purple presents or whatever. We'll see how that plays out as well. But um, the Chad, pretty exciting that he wanted for us to include one of his recent videos that he ironically was in purple with him and Mia. So that'll be something that we'll be adding. But I'm going to go back a little bit. And Misty, you'll have to bear with me, aside from the fact that this is recording. This will even be kind of good for just you and I um, to kind of understand as we've been interacting throughout the week of really kind of how this has played out. It's been pretty crazy. Um, we got word that Nell got denied from our new insurance for a medical necessary surgery that would help her get some traction with some of um, the scary conditions that she's in right now, where she's not able to really kind of get her footing and kind of get into a better health and kind of slipping and feeling scared about that. So this lap band surgery was denied with our prior insurance, and it was denied again with our new insurance, as well as a cutting of a lot of the different medications. And she was very low, very in a state. She had said to me, I don't think that she's ever been that hopeless, and it was just so hard to see her in that state. I've seen a lot of things, but boy, she was just really really suffering, and it was a pretty dark night for me. As you can imagine, not only the love of my life, but you know the caretaker had, and just the concern of not being able to have everything within my control. And I woke up pretty low that morning. I hope I don't get emotional through this. Pretty low. And I was just going to start work. I've got my office here in this room, and Misty sent me this amazing video. It says, I want Bill to see this. And I watched that, and I have never been that hit to the core of lyrics, the beauty of the song choice, the spirit behind Misty and all of who she is, and the skill that she has in kind of putting that together just blew me away. And I stopped everything that I'm doing and captured that raw moment that is out there that I do edit for her. And I'm seeing other friends join. Hey, Sugar Free, thanks for your video. Just popping on here, giving a little bit of history of some of the going ons that you guys have seen a little bit through chat. We've had a lot of busyness. So I do add that. And shortly after that, Misty and I started just talking about the idea of doing more. I mean, it could have just been left with the post. Nell had watched the post and she said it was just beautiful. She just was crying. Um, I don't know where everybody is with their spirituality and their faith, but I don't know where all this is going to kind of go, and it doesn't have to be big for the wrong reasons. But I think that some things are happening beyond those that have expressed an interest to be involved, and I certainly hope that our higher powers work is being done, maybe even at a level that he's been frustrated with in the past. You know, I felt forsaken. I don't know if you've felt forsaken, but I felt forsaken. And I said no more. No, there's nothing going to be, there's nothing that's going to prevent me from joining anybody that wants in on the ride to blow the topic out there and just, I'm done. We're gonna reach people that are in that place. So I reached out to our friend Rob. Commander is his current last name. Gordo, I think, is something like that. It's his last name. And he immediately was in, and they both sent me some videos, and I was gonna just put some videos together, maybe in just a 60-second post, like people that follow me have seen me do. And then I've started doing some bit longer ones and uploading it to YouTube. But I liked how Rob just immediately was willing to do whatever he could, and he didn't let a lacking of having everything that he couldn't relate with everything, but he just quickly tried to find what he could relate with, and you'll see him expressing how that spoke to him in the video when we release it next week. And we started having people started responding. I started reaching out specifically. I didn't want to just spam people, you guys. I have been very careful with not having an effort that starts including more growth be something that gets spoiled from feeling like that, you know, doesn't Rex doesn't care who's involved. He's just gonna send a message out to everybody. And I don't mean that in the sense that some people are more special than others, but I don't know. I can kind of sense some of the people that would maybe be reciprocating and kind of have a little bit more of that connection with. So I've reached out to them, and people started replying. You're gonna see some videos. I forget, Misty, even with you. Um, I've been working really closely behind the scenes with Misty with a lot, and I'll talk a little bit about how Maddie has come into to play as well. But I forget that I remember Mel. She knew something was kind of developing, and she would get little uh, bits and pieces, and I don't think she wanted to know all of it. But once we got to a point where we were actually going to do a live and try to turn TikTok purple kind of thing, I had to sit down with her and say, okay, well, I'm planning on being live, and this is why. So she's understanding kind of how things have kind of um, progressed. But I love the diversity that you're going to see. Oh, um, I forget, Misty, that you haven't been seeing all of these. We are so like-minded, and when we're getting this already, and the videos are coming to me and not you, and I'm seeing and watching all of them, and you're kind of getting a little bit of. I mean, obviously, you're more behind the scenes than than some others that are even agreed to be involved. But it's not like you've seen them all, so yeah, it's pretty neat. We've got all different lengths of videos. We've got some that have wanted to specifically have me pull their posts that have already been out there. Um, there are some that are not on TikTok. Chad Hymas and Tiffany Peterson. You can look them up, follow them. Uh, they're very dear to me. They're just not on TikTok, but they're pretty much world renowned. I was friends with Chad back in the high school days, and we both went and served a Christian mission uh, about the same time. In fact, we even had ex. He married a sweetheart, but I'm not with. I'm friends with my ex, but we would double date and all this kind of thing. And the idea is we're going to come back from our missions and be all close and together and stuff. And so I lost a little bit of touch with him for a time, but then we ended up reconnecting later. It's not like we're hanging out every Friday night with date nights, kind of close, but he has a story and deals with some similarities. Oh, I think Nels just joined us. Hey, babe. I didn't know if you were gonna be able to join, and when I went into the room, you're sleeping, so we weren't quite. Yeah, I was talking about. She, boy, get some good timing. I was talking about Chad Mill, and how we both went on the mission at the same time. Oh, it's great to have you. And I'm sorry that we don't have the setup there in the room. Maybe we'll have that next week. But I'm glad that you're able to join here, and I don't know how long we're going to be. But I'm just kind of talking a little bit about the story behind the scenes of how things were transpiring, and if I'm going to just do a quick brief recap, if you don't mind, Hun, because you kind of missed a little bit of it. But that day that you got the denials, you know how you know very bitterly low that we were at, and some of the things that you said, and how you were experiencing something that was just beyond. And that night, I usually sleep pretty good. I'm pretty peaceful, sound sleeper, and I just was not okay. And I woke up that morning, and I was just literally trying to just drag myself to work to keep things stable. And Misty just out of the blue just sent me that video, and she said specifically, "I want Nell to see this." And I um, shared that with her. Um, well, actually, I didn't share it to her immediately. I just stopped what I was doing and just recorded. some of my reactions because I've never been hit so hard like that. I don't think in my life with some of these things that are so meaningful. And maybe it's different for Nell, but I also don't know a lot of people that have gone through a lot of these same kinds of experiences. That's been so difficult. I don't know why that's the case. It's not that we can't relate with anything because people have hardship and pain and things, but not like what we're going through. And so this has been a huge blessing, starting with Misty, and Misty's starting to get know a little bit better, and she knows that things started kind of progressing. But that, if you haven't watched that post that I duetted Misty that kind of started some of this, please go watch that because I was heartbroken, heartbroken. I remember thinking just in that dark room when Nell was saying what she was, and it was no joke. She was scared. She still is, and we have some more hope about some things, but we don't by no means feel we're out of the woods. So we'll continue to keep everybody posted on kind of how things progress um, with the procedure and how we're going to be able to, if the if we ultimately can't get it approved with the insurance, what we're going to do and stuff. Um, but yeah, no, Misty's for sure. Rob almost came over to Utah and he got it canceled. I'll be meeting you, Rob. Rob, you'll probably watch this later. Rob was uh, the first person on TikTok that I actually got a number from, and he was in a really bad space, and I was able to call him and hopefully help him out a little bit. And he was going to come to Utah, and he probably would have been the first person that I would have met out of the many that Nell and I really want to meet. I think that we will in time because we've really meeting some amazing friends and people. But Rob was the one that immediately just wanted to share uh, what he could relate with. He didn't have a reaction of, I don't have chronic pain. I don't know anything about that. Why asking me? He was just, this is what I can share. And you'll see him sharing what he does in his video. And then, of course, sugar free. And I know that you're on here. I mean, how can we not have you, my friend? And so immediately I was reaching out selectively. Um, Nell and I are pretty careful with anything that has to do with reaching out to friends and family with how that's being done. There's so much risk of that turning sour, right? Somebody getting bent out of shape with that they didn't get contacted or that they were contacted in a way that made them feel like that it was just like a spam message or something. Hey, Deanna. Deanna, you guys, is also someone that is part of the collaboration, so follow her if you're not. She is amazing. Um, and people just started saying, "Yes, I love this. I can't believe you're doing this." And they started, learning more and watching the videos and getting to know Nell's story. In fact, I was kind of a little bit shocked because um, Nisha with Good Things Utah, she's the blonde host. She got back with me, and the producers are in the process of reviewing Nell's story and where they could fit a story like this, and said that they'd be in contact with me if that happens to be something that they decide. So she's basically done all that she's done to get it in the hands of the producers, and what a treat that would be. And even if Nell wasn't in a condition where um, I'm going to get an opportunity, if you don't mind, I'm going to do a little moderating here, you guys. Bear with me while I add some of the closest people here that were onto Utah, or I mean on TikTok as moderators. So bear with me just a second. I think that Seth's as a moderator, and Curly Dog, I want to make a moderator. I think that's good enough for now. So forgive me if I've overlooked something. And I know you guys are engaging a little bit there in the comments, and I love it. So I apologize. I'm not being able to see all of it. I wanted to make sure. Let me take a step in to stop rambling. Hi, friend. Yes, so exciting. It'll be amazing. This is awesome. That is awesome. I can only imagine. Got this. Wanted to make sure she knew she wasn't alone. Wow. What do you do with that? It was amazing. It brought me to tears. Oh, Misty. Oh, man. I did many times. Hi there. Let's see. Follow. Spicy, I don't think I'm following you. Thank you for joining. Canada. Got a friend in Denmark that's doing a video, guys. We aren't broken. We are becoming 100%. Icy. It's the first time here. Yeah. Well, welcome. Welcome. I'll have to check out, get to know you a little bit better. It's all good. Can't wait. Now comes in talking about exes. It's interesting that we're, sorry, I'm late. Hey, sweet sis. My sweetest friends. Thank you for being here. I love you all. Yeah, I love you, sweet friend. Misty, I'm sorry. I do have to go. I'll hopefully join another time. That's amazing. You're human, therefore we suffer with each other. I'll try to keep up here. Perfect. I love. Okay. So I forget that a lot of the behind the scenes, and this is actually what this, I didn't know what I was going to talk about today, but maybe that ends up being a little bit of what's been going on in my head. Um, Nell's obviously known a little bit of that, and Misty and I have been engaging throughout the week with the majority of it. And then Mandy comes into to play. But before I move into that, the good things for Utah. That would be exciting. If Nell wouldn't be in a condition where she'd be able to come on, then that's kind of what my idea would be is to hey Vegas has just joined. That would be my idea to see whether Misty would be able to maybe come on with the program as well because she can speak from an angle kind of related to what Nell would otherwise say. But of course, if that ever happened, I would want Nell to be there. So we'll just kind of see how it plays out. That's the beautiful thing about it is that you don't need to force any of this. It just let it just happen and see what's going to happen. And I was mentioning earlier, Nell, that I really feel like higher power is involved with it. If you guys believe, we have belief in God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit and the ability to be able to speak to people's hearts and minds of truth and things that matter and they're important to our Father in heaven. And I have actually been, I'll share this. I've been in a place where it's been kind of difficult to pray. I haven't wanted to set myself up for feeling disappointed, really wanting to put my heart out there and kind of be vulnerable to a higher being and kind of say what I'd really like. But I kind of was just brutally honest with them and just like, I'm at a space now where I think you know where I'm at, and I want to just kind of put that faith that I do have out there, and you know, I think I asked for two things and kept it kind of simple, and it was, will you help this to be a success for people like Nell and those that need this um, beyond even myself and the people that are initially involved with this. Because at a certain point, you can only do so much, and it's really just kind of up to how people are responding to it, what they do with it, how they're being influenced in ways that don't have anything to do with me, and that's what I would call the Spirit, Holy Ghost, and things. And you don't have to be like a dogmatic, you know, churchy person or whatever, but hopefully that kind of rings true. I think just for us all, and that you just have sometimes things that are from a higher place kind of speak to you. And I certainly feel like that this has at least been my experience. And if nothing else happened other than just a continuation of just what has happened with some friends being made and people starting to feel like some of the conversation is happening and is it's been amazing. So it's already exceeded my expectations, probably everybody else's. So then Mandy Takita replies and says something along the lines of, "Yeah, absolutely. I would love to be of help where we can." And the thing that really impressed me about her is, of course, the obvious, aside from the obvious that you, Mandy, are, the ex-wife and the good friend and the example that you are and how you co-parent and just the family dynamic that you have and the energy that you and Wayne Brady, um, that I at least knew and has have been very much impressed with his talent and even just his own spirit energy on the hilarious show Whose Line Is It Anyway? And I know he's got other things that are going on. I think he's a host for a game show right now. But what a genius! I mean, literally, I think that he's to be able to be that really quick with impromptu the way that he is. Um, and so she didn't make it out to be anything like, hey, you're lower level creators. I'm up here. I'm part of you know, the celebrities or the popular, whatever, famous. And yeah, I'll help you out. 'Cause, it wasn't anything like that. It was just she had learned some of about Nell's story and wanted to do anything that she could to help. And I first was a little bit like, should I really believe that? Or what's going to happen? And anyway, things progressed. Um, and then Misty was made aware, and obviously I was kind of keep updating Nell a little bit here and there. And there's two things I'll share just what Mandy and I have gone through that really hit me. I kind of put a feeler out there because she hadn't put her video or sent a video yet, but she wanted to. And it was pretty much like, "Are you still interested?" And her response was just like, "Yes, this is too important of a story to not be be put out there." And then she started going beyond that. And meanwhile, Misty and I and those that I'm interacting with, sugar free, and forgive me for not being able to think. Gian, Haley, Ashley, some some guy, Danny, Tim Hoffa, I think his name. Anyway, I can't think of all their names, but you've seen a lot of them in the recent posts that I did. I just can't think of them on the top of my head, but you know who you are. And so I'm interacting with them and kind of starting to get all the videos compiled, and they just kept coming in, and they just kept coming in. And I was still in the mindset, maybe Misty, you can make a comment as to whether you agree with that, but I was still in the mindset that, wow, if I put a collaborative video out there on YouTube with whoever wants to do anything like this with Nell. I mean, that would just be amazing. It's just right. I mean, she started talking about some of the timing of it and kind of maximizing the impact because of the importance of not just Nell's story, um, but basically, if you're going to do this, let's do it right. And so that evolves to next Thursday, March 4th, being a day where we're going to formally go live. I didn't even know that purple was the color for chronic pain. Misty told me about that. I had done some dibbling with um, the American Chronic Pain Association, kind of looking at that site, and was able to get a little bit of information and have added it to my link tree of how you can donate specifically to that organization. Um, Mandy was wanting to understand, is there any fundraising that is happening with this? I was like, no, not there. And then having me put something out there with a little bit more details and kind of explaining and giving that information out to so people kind of understood the time frame to where they can then go and start communicating out and doing posts and duets and things. That was the intentionally part of Mandy's guidance. I don't know if she's a producer. I don't know what her role is, but she and Mel ironically doesn't like purple. She hates purple, so she'll have to just love me anyway when I have arranged to be able to have purple for next Thursday. But I was taken back, Mandy, by not only your interests, but the role that you kind of played in the whole dynamic, which doesn't mean that anybody's more important than the other. Um, Misty and I have kind of been spearheading it, but and Maddie has been able to add a level of kind of deployment of something that probably with anything that you're going to do that's kind of like this, it's going to be successful. You've got people kind of working behind the scenes. But anyway, I probably take for granted that some of that people just they know that she's in and and you might not have maybe you don't care some of the insight, but it's been pretty interesting to me, at least as Misty and I have been kind of keeping on the same page and um, having our both reaction of like wow, this is kind of going to another level, and how exciting that is, and why? Because it is. Mandy's right. This is too important to not have this be out there in the world, and none of us asked to be a leader of some kind or claiming that we're just better suited, but we're in an opportunity where we can make a difference and we can move into a space that, as Nels put it, the world's just hungry for. So sincerely, thank you for everything so far and kind of enjoying this ride with us. Um, Misty has reached out to the American Chronic Pain Association as well as TikTok. We're trying to get a nonprofit link option right now. If you wanted to put an option and do kind of donating like that has happened with the American Heart Association or for uh, Jude's St. Jude's and things, there isn't. an option. In fact, the closest thing that rings true to me that I have right now in my bio is that after the American Heart Association stuff has kind of passed is diversity. I am, we're very passionate about diversity inclusion, and I hope that that's conveyed in the collaboration video when that gets relayed. And how cool would that be if they responded to Misty's message? Like I got a response from Nisha with Good Things Utah, because you're never going to know if you don't put it out there. So we'll continue to pursue that, and hopefully, with the many people that are out there that could benefit um, from increasing funds with that nonprofit organization, the American Chronic Pain Awareness Association. They have a donate page on their site, and that's in my uh, link in my bio right now. And there's no reason why we can't help in that space with what they are all graciously helping with. I had a family member reach out to me and wanted to start a GoFundMe. They're actually in the process of doing that. I had a coworker ask me about, in the absence of a GoFundMe, of how they can contribute, not just with the hope of being able to contribute towards the lap band procedure that Mel's needing to get. And it's important for people to know, maybe a lot of it goes without saying, but when you just all of a sudden immediately just say lap band surgery, I think that people could probably get the wrong idea of that, is that cosmetic? What's going on there? And we've got several doctors. I even read with my own eyes one of the the documents that were compiled that's part of the appeal right now, where a neurologist was saying the medically necessary, and and so we remain hopeful. But I converted my Venmo and made it clear that if people were going to contribute to that, for I think it say something like personal Nell story contribution kind of thing, and boom, someone from work just hit right into it, and so those are out there on my site. But when this GoFundMe gets going, then we might share. And obviously, you're not going to be part of making your own. Then maybe you are. You know what? I don't want to fault that, but people's money, they can get kind of sensitive with things. And so if this family member puts that GoFundMe, uh, we'll maybe share the link so that that's another way for people that are wanting to on their own go further than having just one more option that can help. And then today, um, after that post of kind of giving everybody to be kind of on the same page and start sharing, we started having people duet um, the posts, and it's starting to just kind of spread, and hope that that continues to happen. Some of the videos we haven't got in, but it's people are busy. You don't want to reach out every day or two. Hey, I still haven't got your video. What's wrong with you? So I was gonna try to just get all the videos by Wednesday and post the weekend, but now that we've got until next Thursday, you know, if people are following it back out to me, then they've got some more time to get it to me. So people are still working on it, but we've already got a lot of them. And that was also something that was kind of cool as well as Mandy. And I hope that other people have that same, I hope that that comes across in the message that I put with that last post, sharing some of the people that have expressed an interest are involved with it. Um, that Mandy specifically had talked about how, in addition to that, that she would have, an interest in kind of following up with that, and even, um, the idea of being part of posting and making TikTok, purple on that day. In fact, one of the things that, you know, we all have fears that kind of prevent us from doing things. And one of the fears that I have, and Nell had said some things that I think that were very fitting to some of my own hesitations, is it just happens to be that this is happening around the same timing of what we just witnessed with the turning TikTok red and the American Heart Association. And with any leader or example, you're going to take principles and applying them in your life of things that worked is just a good thing. It's not a copying, someone thing or whatever. And I would never want, you know, anybody that was involved with that, whether or not they end up becoming more involved or not, to think that that's what was happening, right? We're just going to try to, copy, and um, this is important too, and again, risk the spoiling of it. And I think it's important to call out and make anybody that is listening to this aware that Nell's vision and dream of reaching out to people like her that are suffering has existed for long, long before. And I'll say it not in a disparaging, because I love JT, right? But I mean, just before he was probably even on TikTok, Nell has wanted to do that. And so I just say that to hopefully put that into perspective, that by no means do we want, nor am I claiming that people would react that way, but I hope that it just comes across. I'm sensitive to that. I wouldn't want that to be the perception from anybody. So hopefully it won't be, because you know, it's had its place, I think. I think it's been inspiring to see the people that are on here and what can happen and things like that. But anyway, I hope that that is settled, because we're not going to be talking about concerns of copying anymore. That's not what's happening. And quite frankly, we've got something that we can be proud of. And I think that I'd like to say would have happened anyway, just originating from what Nell has really wanted to see happen in her life. So yeah, it's been a ride so far. Well, what else? Read, get caught up on a little bit of comments here, guys. Don't want to just ramble while people are trying to engage or talk. He's caused some of my pain laughing so much, Nell says. Yes, my thoughts exactly. Just sharing the daily struggles and getting awareness out there. You never told. Oh, that look like in purple. Um, Before I moved off of that topic about this copying, Santa had responded back out to me, and it's still, we'll see what happens there. Um, but he had made a comment that just goes along with what Nell was telling me, and he's like, well, don't even worry about the whole the copying concept. He's like, if that's copying, then copy away. If you're we're doing good out there. Anyway, so I had the same message there that guys, this is amazing, and it doesn't have to be something that our human nature gets caught up with some comparisons and things that sometimes we do. So emailed them today to get a sticker. She's just talking about that. Seriously, you've all amazed me. My hair is purple. Oh goodness, of course I will and do treasure it all. I cannot thank you all enough. Sharing a story that isn't always heard. I don't hate it that much. Plus, you can pull any color off, my friend. Well, keep in mind, I don't know if it was really a. Now you can tell me what kind of color you've had, kind of like a a tint of kind of a dark purplish kind of. So she's not hit it that much. But here to show some love, Liz, Lizard Freddy. Hey Elizabeth, thanks for joining. I'd just rather have chronic pain awareness than a pull off pink colors. Oh, yeah. Favorite colors pink. I sent you an invite, but launch on too soon so people could help raise money. Start the weekly games very soon. Yeah, it'll be nice to. I think that's not only what Nell wants, but people are interested in, especially after everything that is going on. To they're invested in Nell and want to be able to see and engage with her in a way that's not making her feel stressed that she needs to get there, right? But yeah, I believe that we'll be able to have more of those kinds of next steps and even have some fun on here. So I think that there's a lot to look forward to, you guys. Purple is the color of royalty. It's awesome. Imperfectly perfect sent me here. Daryl, let me follow you. Thank you. Follow Daryl Rayhouse if you haven't already, you guys. Thank you, amazing group of people. Not bad yourself, Misty. So you're saying I need to think purple, huh? Sugar free, absolutely clean. You too, my friend. Too. Some folks always find a reason to criticize everything is a copy of something. Yeah, yeah, love all you. Takes all of you to make this beautiful group of people. Oh, I appreciate that. That's one of the things as you get to know me, one of the reasons why, I have kindred spirits stronger together join the conversation is it just flows. It's kind of the root of my soul. Kindred spirit is somebody that's not just someone that can be friends, but that you just have a quick connection with. Um, almost as if you hear stories, even though it's kind of cliche, of sweethearts and soulmates saying that they've known each other before, and I think that that is true with those kinds of relationships. Certainly, I feel that way with Nell, but I also think that that can be true, and I'd be interested in whether you guys feel that that you know speaks to you as well. And we believe in what's called a pre-existence, that our souls are eternal, and that we lived before we were here in our bodies, and then when we die, our soul is going to continue, and one day we'll be resurrected actually and be able to be with loved ones for eternity. That's kind of not just um, I think that's a common belief theme in a lot of religions. So I just put that out there, that if that speaks true to you and you feel that there could be a connection earlier in terms of what, yes, I agree fully. Yeah, yeah. So, um, thank you, you guys, for giving me some feedback because that's what I would call kindred. Kind of like you know, I'll tie it to Nell is like she's like a Black Panther animal, and I am like a um, I'm gonna get it wrong, some kind of badass dragon lizard. But she's talked about how that when she dies, that she would kind of envision herself being kind of like like a someone that would maybe even lead if she needed to against evil, right? I mean, just in protecting of children and things like that. And so that whole concept of, if we knew each other before now, because, you've got a strong and easy connection, I've got to believe that instead of just life being just a mundane, we are going through the motions and just suffering and, Groundhog Day, that we have missions and that everybody has a mission. And the more in line that you make choices to discover your mission, and even taking that further, those that you know and knew were, and maybe even agreed that that was part of what you were going to help achieve. I think that that can be a profound truth, not some self-importance delusion, not some superiority click, uh, but can just be a pretty beautiful thing where kindred spirits come together and that are stronger together. And a way for that strength to happen is to be part of and join conversations in areas that need it. Because as I have oftentimes painfully learned from Nell in the sense of just lacking where she's at with appreciation to work with words. But words are so much more than just something that's just being spewed out, right? And that's also just not saying that in the cliche of poetry, but I know that I've taken for granted the power of words and communication and nonverbals and energy and how you're presenting to someone what their experiences. And I know that I've missed out on kind of being deeply connected with the space that words can hold. I mean, people go to war over words. Tim, my friend, thank you for popping in, brother. Tim is a good friend of Misty. Tim, I can't tell you enough how glad I am you're still here with us. And if you could stay for just 1 minute, I want to just do a specific shout out for you if I can. Tim sent me a video, and he may send me even a longer one now that he's learned that this is kind of growing. So I'll watch for that, Tim, because I'd love to include more than the 27 seconds that you've sent, because you have a lot to offer. I didn't know, Tim. I watched a post of somebody that I completely didn't know, it was just in the news, and he was a gamer, and it was a post about what he was saying that was the last things that he ever said as he was kind of saying goodbye. And he was saying something along the lines of, if I don't, if you guys don't hear, and then he kind of cut himself off, but you could tell that he was thinking, you guys don't hear from me tomorrow, be good, and he committed suicide. And boy, what a topic that is not understood. You want to talk about a space that deserves grace? It's for those that go through with it as well as are thinking of it, attempted it. And I don't know if I saw the post because I think Steve helped me misty out with his name. Was it Steve Gordo and you? But I saw your post, Tim, and without taking you back into that place, and I would never want that, but I knew you were serious about what you're saying. It wasn't just a call for help to get attention. Steve Bortle. And I didn't know this man. And I thought, am I going to watch my friends that know this man better than me post and say, yeah, we lost him? And I was kind of just, I followed him and watched a couple of posts, Tim, and I started reading the comments of, he's okay. And Steve saying he's okay with his family. And Steve was, I'll stop what I'm doing and go where you're at. And what impressed me most about it is that he wasn't like trying to just get attention, even if it was a call for help. It wasn't just like a, you know, call wolf. And you're still with us. Not one more. Every life's too precious. Tim, you lost a brother 25 years ago, and also a best friend while on the phone with him. I can't imagine I would have go that easy. And I've been maybe in a similar space. I don't know if I've ever been to a point where I was right about, but I think anybody that has experienced varying levels of despair can at least or should have a soft spot for that. And there's just so much insensitivity in the world, you guys, right now. I mean, going to the extreme of what people would call trolls, where if they were to watch some of the very videos of Tim and people like Tim, the comments and the dark place that it would have to come from to be like, you know, do us a favor, one less first, I mean, you've seen them, and there's going to be some overlap in anything that Nell and I are involved with that moves into mental and emotional health. I have obsessive compulsive disorder, perfectionism. I've gone through a lot with that. Depression. I've experienced depression and anxiety. So there's going to be an element of all, pain comes in all forms. And so, I think sugar free coach, Andrea, I hope I'm saying that Andrea right. Forgive me. Is that people they can relate more than they're willing to admit, and I think that goes along with the refreshing space that I hope that Nell and I are and others that are our friends and increasing friends that we're making can move into that space where it's just different. Because if you can have more, and not of the different in the sense of, oh, we've got our little front group, we got our cliques, and if there could be, pockets of that, and then it can maximize, then I don't know, it's a form of battle against evil, I guess, if you think of that way. Because I don't think that evil wants that. I don't think that evil wants kindred spirits that have the ability to serve a purpose beyond food on the table, getting kids to school, that they want them together and using their talents and gifts to become stronger together and to talk about tough things that could help heal hearts and minds, souls, bodies, maybe even. So, yeah, Tim, I don't know if you're still with us because I know you needed to go, but I sincerely am glad that you're still with us. And your mission's not done, man. And I know that you and I have just started to get to know together. And he you'll see in his video without spoiling his thunder, but he unapologetically makes it clear of how much Misty means to him, right? And who's this Rex guy? So there's that. Yeah, if we're willing to step into hard places, miracles happen. That's one of the reasons why I'm really excited to see where this chronic hepatitis awareness thing goes. And I'd like to know, particularly you guys, how you know that she specifically wanted to add the suffering rather than the illness. And Misty liked that touch too. I think that that is more fitting. People don't like to feel pain of any kind. Think of all the abuse of all sorts because they're trying to get out of pain. Think of the pain that comes from the people that can help us get out of pain, that there's even an absence of them being able to completely empathize with this. A person at my work was saying that. How many doctors and physicians and therapists? Yeah, there's some, but is that the norm of what we're seeing? Is that we're seeing the people that are in a position to help us with that pain? How many of them can say that they've had those same conditions, right? To be able to have that empathy. And so it's even difficult with when you're trying to have someone that's helping you with your pain. And maybe you guys have experienced this with, and not that that makes them a bad person, but how frequently are you in the ER or your doctor's office or you're doing whatever it is, therapist or whatever that you're trying to kind of help with things. Ultimately, at the core of that is dealing with probably some pain of some kind, deep layers of pain. Yep. And the person that you're looking to get help from and to have those conversations can't relate, and you can you can tell that they can't relate, and that makes it difficult to have those conversations. So there's a place for any good person, regardless of what they were able to. You don't want to fault them for having good health or whatever, but it's created especially decades ago when it wasn't okay to talk about it. Was so the stigmas were just insanity. We've just been in a societal space that seems to do everything that you could possibly think of, imaginable, of coping and walking through whatever the right steps are with that pain, than what really works. You know how common that is. I can guarantee you right now that's probably, Misty, one of the top things that people that get it, I can't even relate with Nell, because I've had my own pains, but I haven't been able to have like chronic physical pain. But how demoralizing that could be to be told that it's in your head. And even if there is an element of emotional and mental part of things, no one ever talking about that. We were talking. It's not a bad thing to always acknowledge that there's other areas of our whole being that can use some improvement, and we want to improve. But that's a very way different way to articulate it than to make somebody feel like it's just all in their head, and to have them feel like they're faking it or something, or that you're just not believed, which is a good tie-in to Misty's video. She didn't just call it chronic pain and suffering. One of the first things that stood out to me when I watched that video was the invisible aspect of it. And my good friend Chad Hymas, which, by the way, I've learned, Andrea, that you're also uh, also know him. Small world. I don't know if you want to call it an advantage that your pain and your disability and your illness is visible or not, in the sense of getting what everybody wants to have, just as a basic human need of validation and being to believe that you're being honest, that something's real. We can hear you.
Love you.
Love you all.
I'm gonna get water.
She's getting her water. She said, "Love you all." Did you guys hear? Oh, love you, babe. Yeah, you don't look sick. Can't possibly be sick. Yeah, that's got to change. And I think it is. There's someone on TikTok that belongs in the same party, but that recently she's had such flare-ups it's been difficult to kind of engage beyond the live that I dipped into that she said that she would have loved to be a part of it. And Misty, maybe you can help me in dropping her username, but Christina, and she has had cancer in her right side of her leg, and orange is the color for her specific condition. And she's actually, in a lot of ways, much further along and advanced in some of what we're trying to do in this kind of neck of the woods, in that she's an ally that I think we'll continue to kind of partner with, and with her expressing that she wanted to be interested, I've just taken some of the videos that I think had touched me the most. I think that she would be okay with doing that because she just has had a difficult time in getting back with me and not seeing my comments when I've been in subsequent lives. But um, can you find Misty what her username is? And if you guys aren't following her, it's Christina. Um, but she's doing a lot of good things out there as well. And Misty had sent her to me, and that's where I was able to engage briefly in a live where she expressed that she would have interest in helping out however she could. And then she just had a huge incident, and she's got the brain fog and things that she's trying to recover. So I don't want to push trying to get something more from that. But anyway, um, what else? Kind of rambling here. We have to keep an eye on the caregivers too. Yeah, I don't know. Being a caregiver, one of the main things that's on my mind is just getting good at being more organically adaptive with the different hats that you have. Hello from Ohio. Is going through your TikToks, praying for your wife. I've got chronic pain too. Oh, welcome, Holly. Kindred, follow right there. Glad glad some of these things have spoken to you, and hope you feel welcome with our friends for sure. Absolutely. But there's gonna be times where I just need to be Mr. I mean, I have a pretty good work ethic, and sometimes all that's going on is I'm helping people get started with their software, and I can't think of anything else other than grinding through that. And the company's growing, and they're uh, um, in the industry. They're a software that's pretty competitive with some of the other competitors, and I've got a role where I'm helping to get a lot of complexities with account setups and things with those companies so that when they start using the system that they're ready to be successful. And when I'm in that space, I can't, be there in the way that Nell would need me if I was, around around her. Um, and that's even different than, of course, that takes a lot of time. It's not like I'm on TikTok full time. Some of these people are moving into a space to where they're doing this full time, right? Did I just see Gianna jump in? Oh, awesome. Another one I wanted to. There you go. Serves you right. Moderator. Gian, Gian, I watched a video and you pronounce your name. Gina. Gina. think it's Gina, right? Maybe, give me a thumbs up if I'm able to get close. Oh, Mama Sue, listen, how all my moderator favorites. Gian, maybe I'm getting that right. Thanks for your video. Mama Sue, listen, if you've got my DM, I know I haven't been able to connect with you. If you want to just do a video, even if it's like a 60-second one, if you want to send something where you're talking specifically that's not so much a post, I'd love to have you. I was talking about earlier how I try to be selective with some of the people that I've reached out to, and you're certainly one of them. So don't feel obligated, my friend. But and we've got some more time since I'm not going to release the video until next Thursday. Now with the live, we've got some time for people to still bring in the videos. Some guy Danny, Tiffany Peterson, Chad Hymas, and others still need to get me there. So we haven't had a chance to kind of chat, but maybe we can. And if you want to have a video that's longer than 60 seconds, I got a Dropbox link that I can send you. People have been able to upload that pretty easily. Take our of you to take care of now the best of your abilities. You forget some things, but maybe not eating. Yeah, yeah, it's good to see you too. And if I'm in, I'll talk about your age, Mama Sue, only because you were the first to do it, where you put your announcement of your age out there, but you cannot be. You cannot be. You are 60. You're a kindred soul sister. You can't change my mind. I don't know what you're doing, but give me some of that. 69. Yeah, don't believe her. It's not true. Nell, he's your biggest cheerleader. You are one of lucky women. Oh, thanks, Misty. I appreciate that. Well, and you guys need to know, you know, one of the things that Nell and I have wanted to do is to kind of, you know, bring you more into kind of more of the behind the scenes, and you'll probably never ever know just the Rex that Nell knows and that God and the Lord knows. I need forgiveness, guys. I believe that the atonement happened for me and that I need grace. I'll share even just three things that I really struggle with. That's um, and yeah, absolutely Nell is grateful. Um, and we are both blessed, but we have our problems. We have our issues just like anybody else. I have a hard time stopping when I need to stop. I have a hard time slowing down because I like to go fast. Um, I have a hard time coupled with that to put everything aside in the busyness and just give the listening and the engagement and the active, listening, the deserve or the that she and even others deserve sometimes. And then even if I am doing a little bit better in that I need to do better at being conversational in terms of not just acknowledging and kind of the back and forth, but basically it's really like a dance to not just be reciprocating, but far beyond that, where somebody, and this just doesn't apply to just Nell and I's relationship, but it's just anybody that. what kind of experience are are they having? When I met Nell, I was somewhat of a player. I was dancing, dating girls, superficial, cocky. I got to a point where, I knew that maybe those, girls were at a point in their life where they were ready to be a mother, and maybe they had to kind of mature over time or whatever. I started losing an interest to a lot of that superficiality. And I'll say it again, I'll say it over and over and over. Nell was the first person that I've ever met that had not only smoking hot looks and jeans, but was mature and profound and in ways that I didn't even comprehend because I was just so shallow. I was raised, I was a good person, but it's not like I was raised well. I'm grateful for my parents. Love you, mom and dad. Um, but even just in terms of not just in the sense of what you did or didn't get from parenting, but just I didn't like invest, I guess, in myself in a way that really was at a level I think was deserving of her, but she still saw some things in me. And over the years, it's been hard for me to grow and change when it was so obvious to me the disparity between where she was at and where I was. And I don't know if that will ever go away. Because even if it's of less serious things now, there hasn't been anybody that has stuck with me and have actively worked with me and known how to give that feedback and help me to get the awareness of things because I wasn't always seeing it myself to be able to make changes. And then I've even said to, I think it was a therapist, I've been in therapy. I'm not afraid to say,
Okay.
huh? You telling me to wrap up? What?
Just joining.
Oh, you're joining? Oh, well, you had a
Not
blanket.
super nice.
You had a you had a blanket, and I thought Ninny was about to come in here.
No, I'm using our neighbor's
Guys, we got a
blanket.
treat. So Nell's hunkered down here by me in her blanket, and you'll be able to hear her for the rest of the. Yeah, she is my soulmate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
he's not
guys.
going anywhere.
Yeah, but I think it's important whenever you have something that is good. I want to talk brutally honestly about some things that people don't always talk about among the good. If you see good out there, I had a person at work said that she doesn't get on social media anymore. She's single. She just doesn't. It just, why do I want to go and just see the life that other people have, and then that's just more pain. So, I mean, it's easier said than done, but there's got to be, and I don't have all the answers, but all of us can go out into social media or the world and see something that,
We're not actively looking for our blessings and what we can do, how we can help, how we can outstretch our hand, how we can give our heart. We're always, always going to see something better,
yeah,
something
exactly.
something I don't have. So if that shift hasn't happened, you just gotta love on them and
Yeah,
gently push them into that. That's where serving another person can save your own life.
yeah,
Serving others can save your own life.
yeah. So those two kind of principles come hand in hand. Is let's try to move into a space where you can still be part of the conversation, part of developing relationships, part of being in an open space where you're around people, and you're even, taking inventory of, oh, okay, I don't have this, I don't have that, or they have this, and all this kind of stuff that's just part of human nature, but still not have that be something that has to add to our hardship or pain. And I think that we can do better at that. The other thing is, and this is more cliche, but for some, it's maybe not so common sense, but what you're seeing, whenever there's cameras that are going on, you're not seeing me wake up in the morning and have my face a little puffy. You're not seeing,
There's a reason I'm not running camera.
yeah, you know, you're not seeing when, I was moving a
I'm
little
not
bit.
sugar free that looks cute 24/7. So I'm not running
Yeah.
camera.
Well, no,
I'm
I mean,
not.
I'm not, I'm just
No,
saying that,
we're messing
yeah,
with sugar free right now.
you're not seeing the moments where I was going too fast with something and then I didn't really stop to kind of register, or maybe I got something wrong with something, and that moment where I've made no not feel as special as she should be, and then I beat myself up, right? So you guys don't see we're normal, and so
Well,
it's
much more than this ties back to why it was important to include the word suffering. Because I have, we are very blessed to have all kinds of walks of life, all ages, all types of struggles touching us personally, whether it's our siblings or our children or who are children, um, their soulmates, their loves. We we've experienced a lot and we see a lot. And my word, are we blessed? We're blessed so much, not in spite of our trials and struggles, but because of them. How do you grow? How do you become more selfless? How do you step into the shoes that you're meant to fill if you if you're not actively growing every hour of every day? And where Rex and I had the opportunity to be before I got before my body became in really bad shape. I had an opportunity to be a caretaker for Rex. Um, and we'll touch on all of that. Rex and I definitely want this to be a place where, as long as it stays, classy, a classy place to talk about anything. We're not really opposed to talking about anything. It's important to talk about just life. It doesn't, that's how you stay in touch with each other. I don't know why we're so, I guess it's just not, we don't want to face pain, and that's facing pain
yeah,
is where we get tripped up, and that's why we put on a face, and that's
yeah,
why we don't want to talk about things. And
it comes back, absolutely, it comes back to pain comes in different forms, and that is part of what I have been responding when people have reached out and they're like, I want to be a part of this, but I don't know what to say. And and as I kind of explained a little bit of that, people feel that, yeah, It doesn't have to be where someone is feeling that where they're wanting to be included with something that, oh, you know, that doesn't check all of those things, and that they feel excluded.
Yeah, there's one, well, a couple, I think, for us. There's one, what's happening? Why am I,
What am I doing? Oh,
yeah. Um,
I'm just reading the comments.
are you human? Check. You're welcome. Um, are you going to be decent, you know, in these groups? Check. Welcome. Um, we can't afford to have anyone that I said it before and I will repeat it time and time again. You guys will get sick of me saying this, but I will not tolerate any sort of bullying or making fun of or we just it's not a place where we can afford to have that.
Yeah.
But hey, if you can say I'm a little bit of a jerk and I kind of need help and you guys seem like a safe place, stay, please.
Yeah.
But we don't. Other than that, I just can't tolerate it. I can't afford for that this place to be that. It has to be completely safe because, like Misty, who is Misty? Misty, are you imperfectly perfect?
Hmm.
Okay. Um, and others have. I know that Sugar Freeze talked about this. You know,
Hmm.
it's there's going to be times where we're going to our paths are going to cross with people where their life's on the line. So we don't need jokesters, we don't need bullies, we don't need, that's
Yeah.
just it cannot happen. Um, it reminds me of, I walked my own tush into a detox hospital. That was one of the hardest weeks of my life. Checked myself right into a detox hospital off of all the meds the doctors put me on. Just a clean slate. I didn't know what was up, but honestly, my body was really crashing. Felt like I was 90 years old.
Which was an interesting blessing because even though the reason why her doing that wasn't because of why some people do check themselves in, it wasn't like there
Right?
was a
No, not
strict,
at all. I
but
would.
she met people.
That's where I was going with this. It's one of the most difficult weeks of my life and one of the most precious weeks of my life. Um, I couldn't relate to a single person there as far as choosing to take drugs or choosing to drink but boy, could I relate to them about just being human and
You know,
and pain and hurt. And I'll tell you something, if you've never been in a place like that, I found it interesting that in a place where people would think the most flawed individuals are, most people think I wouldn't want to even drive in a parking lot that has that many flawed individuals and that many mess ups in society and life. And the spirit was not. I've never stepped in a place where the spirit was so strong, where I knew our Savior was. And in so many ways, and in ways I didn't expect, I was healed. And I realized every single person in my group that I got to know that week, as we spent dang near every hour together, they were all extremely sensitive, beautiful human beings that just maybe have gotten hurt a little easier or a little too often, you know? And leaving
They're in
there,
pain.
yeah, leaving there was one of the hardest things. Walking in was the hardest thing, being there was the hardest thing, and leaving there was one of the hardest things. Oh, so,
Some people will respond. It's a good tie into this. You watch, people are going to respond differently to this week, this upcoming week. But let's keep in mind that regardless of how they respond, that at the behind that response is generally going to be their relationship with pain. You know, you're going to have people that all of a sudden want to avoid it. You know, they were close, and now they just don't want to talk about it. They want to look at it. There are going to be people that are interested, but they've got fears, and so they are on the sidelines watching, but very quiet and not seeing, but really trying to be a part of it. There's going to be people that feel like even the most virtuous, gracious, well-intentioned way to put that out there in the world to try to reach out to people, if they get exposure to it, they'll react to it as, I don't want that in my face.
yeah, absolutely.
Defensiveness, reaction. Um, you'll have
They're
people
just
that,
not ready to face it.
what's that?
Just not ready to
Yeah,
face it. It's,
you'll have people that will be like, oh, I am ready. This is refreshing, and it's not just Rex, it's not just Mel, but it's Christina over here, it's Misty, it's Andrea, it's
yeah,
Susan.
well, and we're starting, and just so everyone knows, I know very little about what's happening.
Yeah,
This
she
week's been very tough, and Rex has kind of said some things here and there, and I've said, I don't know what you're talking about. I just need to go to sleep or, you know, get through another hour. But um, I did watch that beautiful video. Um, thank you so much for that. And I do know, I think just today was it. That's another thing, guys. You'll get to know, you'll get to know me in a lot of different ways, and one of them is I may not know the day or time. It blends in at some point. I'm sure a lot of you know what I'm talking about.
just kind of
I
runs
think maybe
together.
today, yeah, that absolutely does. I just went down last week down to our middle floor, and Christmas was so difficult on me because I want it to be the best for our kids every year. And I'm one of those wrappers that has to wrap presents like the wrapping is the gift itself. So, and I get made fun of over that, but they love it. But that was so important to me. Like I wasn't gonna mess up Christmas. But it put me down for 5, 6 weeks. And I went downstairs and Rex and I got a good laugh out of it, but no joke, I had crispy plants. Like, even my little lemon drop fern, which is my favorite,
Yeah,
was crispy.
her
And he said,
plants,
Rex says, I don't think that one's coming back. And we got a good laugh at my word.
little plants are dying, you guys.
um, we're hanging on over here. So when I asked Rex, did you tell me something today? Was it today? Just laugh at me. I don't, it's just comes with the territory. But I think today is what I'm saying was he has mentioned. Was it today?
Probably 10 minutes ago.
What did I ask you 3 times?
Oh man, I think you
Was it?
forgot
I
what
have
you.
to. Yeah, I have. I don't know why I have to keep like it. I need to put it together. I can't just. I have to say, was it today? Was it today that
Yeah.
you showed me? Yeah, I think it was today you showed me there's something for next week. Was that today?
Oh yes. Um.
The live for next week? Is that what you? So I know
That
there's
was
a lot
last
going on
evening.
behind the
Yeah.
scenes, and I
Yeah.
can't
Because
thank you enough,
I
everyone. I
can't.
cannot.
Yeah, I can't keep you updated with.
But it was today, right? I think you finally came in. Okay, so Rex has the
I
same
think
disease
it.
as me.
I think it was
He doesn't
late last night.
know.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was late last night. After
Maybe.
after we decided, Mandy and I were talking about how we're not going to just
Oh,
throw something out there and have it get 20 views and you make yourself better because you've influenced 20 people. Not that those 20 people weren't important, but she was kind of in that space where it's like, look, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it.
yeah. Okay. So it was
Yeah.
in the last 24 hours.
Yes, 24 hours.
To
It's 24
me,
hours.
that's today. Yeah.
Yeah, you're close.
Okay.
Yeah, so March 4th, it's going to be an exciting day. And kind of, as far as the place where I'm at with the pain is I am absolutely done with having any of those other ways in which I've had a relationship with the pain to be what I stay in. I have avoided pain. I have been defensive. I have been angry. I have gotten in fights. I have deflected um, when something was too sensitive because you're talking about a weakness that I have and I'm feeling vulnerable. That reaction of I'm gonna, certainly don't want
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
engage in a conversation, let alone,
All of this, it's important to touch on all of this. There's conversations that could just go on for years, but
oh man,
yeah, I wanted to say to Chaos, I'm
what's up,
so
brother?
sorry to hear that. That's hard to hear.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
understand to some degree. Um, you'll be in my prayers for sure.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
we want to talk about because
Fibrils.
I remember seeing, uh, I where I've touched base with most sufferers of, I'll just say spookies because you know, that's a wider range. That's more inclusive of a lot of different things and people. Has been on YouTube. A couple of them I have watched, and they have just been outright left. Their spouses just left. It's too hard. Why? One woman was down in bed and didn't know how she was gonna do the next thing. How am I gonna get my meds? How am I gonna get food? And she just in tears. I can't even remember where we see that, but we'll talk about how being in love isn't going to be the answer for everything. How commitment will carry you through. Um, and or that being or a new definition of what being in love is, or a new definition of what support looks like. to people that are suffering.
Hmm.
We're going to talk about good, the bad, the ugly because we need to talk about it. There's a massive community. Well, the whole of the world suffers from something.
Yeah.
We'd love to sweep crap under the rug, and
Gosh.
it's so exhausting, and it gets us nowhere, and it actually does the exact opposite, puts us in reverse, and we end up hurting each other because there's no healing, because there's no honesty, because
Yeah.
there's no inclusion, because there's no answers. And it just goes on and on. It's a train wreck, and I'm tired of watching it. And then there's some really bright lights. I tell you, right in this group, Rex has introduced me to a lot of you, and uh, he calls you his peeps, kindred spirits.
Yeah.
You're angels. I absolutely consider you my angels. And
Yeah. Matt has joined. I want to just give a quick call out. Matt, thanks for your comment.
hi, Matt. Welcome.
I I work with Matt.
Oh, that's neat.
In fact,
Oh,
we've been there for a pretty long time, and we've helped to build the company in a lot of ways, and we had opportunity to kind of bond when we went to McCall, Idaho. We were
oh,
invited,
yeah.
and
Well, nice to have you in here, Matt.
yeah, you want to talk
That's
about a kindred
amazing.
spirit. He he's actually one of the leaders. He's moved up. He helped us. He him and I helped to develop the roots of the success on the whole onboarding.
Yeah,
And then he's gone into being able to be a leader of
that's
so thanks for joining, man. In fact, I mean, people at my work kind of know some of the things in the story of Nell and things like that.
yeah. I think a few people do.
But there's two people particularly, and Matt, Kelly, you know. So those are the two that I'm probably closer. But anyway, you're welcome anytime, man. We'll go get a drink sometime or something. Maybe,
Roxbury.
yeah, a virgin or whatever. No. But she was talking.
We don't have time for cover up anymore. You know what I mean? We don't have time to make things always pretty. There's so much love and life and laughter amongst and within and weaved into the pain and suffering. That's what life's about. When we avoid the pain and suffering, we avoid true peace, true love, true happiness. And that seems so strange. I love using the word disruption because
Hmm.
immediately that for most people is a negative. There's just certain words that you immediately feel positivity towards or negativity, and disruption has negativity attached to it for a lot of us. Well, what about divine disruption? What about disruption that carries us right into us becoming better, us becoming innovators, us becoming, our souls becoming bigger, more capable of bringing others into our world and caring for them? And I could go on and on and on, but um, when I was taught that and that shift happened, I loved it. I clung on to that so hard because through disruption, and we've all experienced one together this past year. Um, well, in the beginning, I watched a whole lot of people panic, have real panic attacks. In no way am I making fun
Mm.
of anyone, but true panic of how am I going to, what do you mean? What do you mean there's a virus? How am I going to, what do you mean I have to work from home? How are we going to do this? I can't. How are we going to wear masks? And because I had already kind of been in a state for 7, 8 years of being isolated in, you know, there wasn't that panic for me. I hadn't felt, I felt so sad and so sorry. But what has happened is people figured it out. They figured out not only can I do this, but look at what I came up with. Look at this idea I came up with. Look
Yeah.
at how our family's thriving. Look at how I'm thriving. You know,
Um,
yeah, you know, you just watch me get stronger and be, it just has been amazing. And then really so much good has happened on social media since then. And it's been incredible to watch. And that's what I mean by taking disruption and turning it around and figuring out, or just embracing it. I don't even want to say turning it around, just
I,
embrace it.
I think
And
that's an amazing way to say what I was kind of trying to say in what our relationship is with pain,
yeah,
and people are commenting that yes, that pain comes in uh, different forms, and this next week, although the
absolutely.
concentration is going to be on maybe physical chronic, pain and suffering,
But
for
we'll
those
talk
that know us, it's a segue for us to be able to talk about some of these other
yes,
things that are all connected.
um, just about anything you can think of. Our daughter, um, and I'll talking to sugar free here mostly for a second. Our youngest
Andrea,
daughter.
yeah, heard it. I don't know whether you prefer to be
I
called
no,
sugar free or Andrea.
I do want
It's
to
like
taste.
it's like Sass or
No, I
Curly
know.
Dog. I'll get
I
your I'll get your first names. Misty's kind
really
of.
just want to
I'm
call her
not gonna
sugar.
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna say imperfectly perfect every time I
I
see Missy.
know. I know. Okay.
It's okay.
So our youngest daughter, um, her.
Hold on, real quick. Thank Misty. Thanks for coming in.
Oh
She's
yes,
gonna.
thank you. Thank you for everything. You are beautiful, amazing, lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank
Next week, uh, I'll if you're up to it, I'll probably whether it's in this room or somewhere else, I'm probably gonna have you come on to a um,
you. Yeah, hopefully I'll be a part
the FaceTime
in
if
your.
you're open to that.
So
So people.
we also, you guys, just to put that out there, our great nephew is hanging on to his last hours of life. So we,
Yeah, Tatum's probably gonna
our
pass maybe
tiny
this
little
weekend.
Tate, he's just
Yeah, keep him in your prayers as he's an
14
angel
months
that's getting
old.
ready to pass.
Yeah.
One of us.
So we will keep you guys informed
Yeah. But
on
Misty, we'll
that.
be in touch. Thank you for
Yes,
your prayers and thank you for coming and being a part of all of
absolutely.
what you've done and showing, love to Nell and my family and myself and quickly getting to know some of those that are also involved. It's a really beautiful thing. So I appreciate it. We look forward to meeting you guys in person. That will be pretty awesome. So we'll make sure it happens somehow.
Um, so we taught our kids really basic lessons in life. Rex and I decided we wanted to. I don't want to say dumb it down, but it's like I, I feel like sometimes we as parents can we put too much on our children, and our children we really really worked hard to teach them to be good, to be worthy, to be faithful, and to be contributors. And other than that, we taught them that this life is their own. We have no right to stand in the way of their path and tell them whether they should go right or left. Um, that is absolutely not our place. And so, all of them, and you'll get to know them more, are amazing human beings. We have three children. Our oldest is Ellen, and our son, Mason, and then our youngest, Abigail. And they all have relationships that are with incredible people who I always forget. Or yeah, I was going to talk what, sugar free. Tell me your. Thank
Andrea,
you.
Andrea. Yeah, I'll keep
Is
calling her
it
sugar free
Andrea
too.
or
So
Andrea?
I think it's
If I'm
Andrea.
gonna pronounce it right.
I think it's Andrea.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So our youngest, um, she has been with Caleb 2.5 years, and they are incredible. They're an incredible couple. He's African American and he has autism, and he is brilliant. And I don't think he is entirely talented. He's one of those humans that you feel like he touches it and it turns to gold. He could do anything he wants. Um,
And you know
other
that you
other
knew that
kids,
Andrea has.
yes,
Yeah,
that's what I was
Andrea
telling her.
has one.
I just, I've got to somehow get you two in touch because you're just a leader, Andrea. You really are. You're just beautiful. You're no nonsense, and you're all about, you know, let's not waste time and let's get this change going and do it positively and do it right. And um, but I'm also we're pretty proud of the fact that our children never saw skin color differences. They not one of them. Matter of fact, all of them are in relationships with with different nationalities and different and
Yeah,
it
African
just
American,
yeah,
Hispanic,
both
Hispanic.
the other two is Hispanic. That enriches our life um,
Love it.
by so much, and we adore it. And we have our first granddaughter, who, my word, she's a healer. But I look at her and I am so happy for her, and I tell her all the time. She's only what 5 months, and I tell her all the time how blessed she is to have all the people she has in her life and all the different views of the world that she gets to hear and she gets to see. And that's how I feel with all of them. But we are so blessed with just good human beings as children who who are paving their way and who have chosen amazing human beings to spend their life with. So,
Mason's best friend was.
oh, Mason's two best friends.
Yeah,
One is Asian, and one is African American, and those two are
I'm
my
watching them.
boys, and they know they get in trouble if they don't check in enough, and they really haven't, so they're in trouble.
Yeah,
Uh,
some of my closest friends, the Murrays. In fact,
yes,
one of my posts I did like relationship goals, and it had some of the old couple, the
yes.
the um the New Zealanders, with the
Oh,
Murrays. They were
yes.
so close, and I grew up with some a Tongan family, and
Yeah. Incredible.
yeah, I love diversity. I don't understand. I never,
So
and that's a
yeah,
whole
that,
other topic.
I
I
guess it
never,
ties in with we will end up talking about everything
yeah.
because we, and then, we've got some veterans of PTSD seriously, and who my brother's a very strong advocate. Um,
You know what I think?
Veterans
Oh, sorry.
that may have been suicidal or who may be. He works very hard on that, and so we'll invite him and anyway, from but
Oh, I just think that it's interesting how that can also be tied into pain. Um, Andrea is talking about just like color, gender, and et cetera, diversity makes us great as a race of humans. Pain and suffering gives us
yeah,
compassion. I think
absolutely.
that racism is another symptom of our relationship with pain. Because if you have experienced something from someone else that happens to be of a different race, or you're getting taught about what other people's experiences have been with the other race, there's pain that was associated with whether that someone felt, that they were inferior or whatever. And then that, you know what I
Sure,
mean?
it's and it.
Yeah,
I kind of get stumped, and this kind of turned into something we didn't intend tonight, but I get really stumped sometimes on, and this is maybe where we could have you at Andrea, just because we would like to eventually have this more scheduled out where we spend a week or two on one topic because it deserves that time, right? So,
yeah,
and then we have
that's
where
true.
we have Zoom calls on our lives, and because
Oh, that would be
again,
amazing.
Caleb's
Using my
parents,
Zoom, I've
Caleb and his parents are incredible human beings, and that's just who they are to me. Incredible human beings. I don't think of them as anything different. And so, as there's been a lot of pain recently in the world, it's kind of like someone not knowing what to do with someone with chronic pain, right? Sometimes we get stumped on what can we do, and I would like to just have kind of an interview and and take it from somebody that we love and trust, and Andre is completely um, somebody
yeah,
that would
that would be kind
fill
of
that
cool.
bill. Absolutely.
I'm glad that you mentioned that. I mentioned earlier I don't have a nice sophisticated monitor on the wall that I could put somebody, but I've got the iPad kind of set up. I've done a test with my daughter earlier, and I can easily FaceTime someone and then pull them up, and then you can hear them and watch them. So, and then even beyond that,
I have a stand for that.
yeah, okay.
So
But
let me write stuff.
even beyond that, we might be able to get into where we're getting into Zooms. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
um, Andrea, you know,
Because
love to.
it's just, I, a lot of my pain as far as any issues with race, my personal pain, it just comes from watching people in pain. And and I can't stand, and I'll be honest and say this. It wasn't that long ago, and I think it's fair for me to be honest. It's fair to those who have suffered at the hands of others. It was not long ago. I'm okay, reaching 45 here, so. But when I was a child, I heard some terrible things growing up that would not be okay today, in the least. And I remember feeling something's not right. I don't like that, and it made me feel terrible. So although we've come very far, it's not enough, and we need to stop the ugly fighting. Um, and sometimes all it takes is just asking, asking the other person, what did you experience? What did your what did your parents experience? What did your ancestors experience? How has that affected you? And what can we do? How can we help? Because unfortunately, we do need to take some responsibility for our ancestors' doings. We That's just how it goes. That's how it goes in any race, in any family.
Hmm.
And we have to turn it around and work harder and be better. And I hope that my children, the Rex and I's children, well, I know they'll do exactly what I'm talking about. They will be better than us, and they will be stronger, and they will be more kind, and they will be more inclusive, because that's how we taught them, and that's just who they are as
Oh,
souls.
babe, I love that you're talking about that. You know, Andre is saying, yeah, like the shirt says,
Yes.
stronger together. And that stronger together includes people that we've already developed a relationship with, as well as new people. We've got Courtney in the house that's joined, and she
Hi,
says,
Courtney.
I'll definitely be there March 4th. I suffer from chronic pain with
Oh, sorry.
HD, HEDS, and CIPD. I'm not familiar with what those are.
Yeah, I would love to get to know. I mean, it's heartbreaking, but we need to know
Yeah,
all the different.
there's so
I know
many.
quite a bit because I try to intentionally follow people that are really putting themselves out there for the betterment of humankind, and so many of them, to Andrea's point, I think I've seen her say this in the chat. Well, I'm sure you have. Um, Through our pain and suffering, there's so much light and life and learning. And so I intentionally follow those people that bring that light and life, learning and love into my life. And so I I've learned quite a bit about suffering. And but boy, the more I learn, the more I realize we've just touched the tip of the iceberg. It makes me kind of gulp in sadness, but also a lot of hope, because if we can do this together, we do exactly that. We do this together,
Yeah,
right? I think the biggest pain with any suffering is the isolation.
isolation,
Yeah, that's
people
where
being alone in some way.
absolutely that's where our mind starts racing. That's where uh, that's where that other voice tells you you're not good enough, that you're lazy. You should be. That's where I get worked on the most. I can tell you that. I'm not a good mom. I'm not a good wife anymore. I don't have anything to offer.
Oh,
Um, and so when you're isolated, it's the worst. And Rex knows I've literally had dreams, and a couple of them I've shared with him, that that was me being brought to somebody suffering. And so it's been a long time coming because I just haven't been well enough, you know. But I finally figured out, and the teeniest human being taught me this.
Indeed.
Well, yeah, our
And
birth granddaughter, but I'm talking about our great nephew, Tate, who's in his final hours. He not only lived a short life, but a very painful one. As the, let's just take a long disease and bring it to a very short explanation. Bottom line is it attacked his body in the most brutal way, taking away the sheath, the surrounding protective barrier. It's taken that away from all of his nerves and taken away basic reflexes like swallowing. That little human being taught me that I don't have time, that I need to do this work now. And if it means I sit outside the door with Rex, and if it means I'm laying in bed and Rex comes in, then that's how we do it.
yeah, that's how we show up.
And I call him my little wingman because he came into this world, and all of a sudden I wasn't isolated anymore. I can't even describe it. And yes, I'm a crybaby at this. But his soul spoke to me. I don't know how. I don't even know how to describe it. It's probably something like a fool. But he came into this world for a million different reasons and blessed people in a million different ways. But to me, he's my wingman. He has protected me and he's helped me push myself
They are angels.
a little harder. And you can, I guess, we can part of a lot of this movement is because of him.
Yeah.
You know, it's been on my mind for a few years, pretty heavily. That you know, I'm sitting there waiting for the right time. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. What's the
There
right
you go.
time in chronic pain world? Like, what does that mean?
Hmm.
I was waiting for the right time to look good enough for y'all, but like, I can't. You know, he's going. um, you know, I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know how little soul can. You know, so little can just
Yeah.
speak to you in volumes without saying a word.
It's,
That we've been so blessed by him, but me especially, and so is Dennis. Really hard on me.
they're gonna miss him so bad. He's probably won't make it through next weekend. We're thinking so. But you know, you talk about. I think that, well, not just me, but you know, the opposite of the rat race day to day is an eternal perspective.
Yeah.
And we just lose sight of that. We
Yeah.
we've got to continue to be reminded. I think that's one of the reasons why they're so powerful is they haven't gotten into.
Yeah, because her granddaughter, her little 5-month-old granddaughter as well. Oh my word. She slows time down in the most
Yeah,
beautiful
you
way.
it puts mean, there's a number of things we can. That's a whole other week
Yeah.
and lifetime to talk about why children, without them even knowing, are
Yeah.
just such.
Well, you guys, as you get to know Rex a little more in our uh, when we were able to go to church and our church callings, we we were always, for the most part, called with you know, had callings with the children, and we couldn't have had it any better. We loved
Oh, she's
our
talking
little
about.
nursery kids and our church callings, and
Yeah, we've served in different leadership kinds of positions, and boy, you want to, along with just the experience with kids, but even good people with the so-called responsibility of a leader of some kind can kind of get to people's heads, and how humbling it was to just be among. We were among the a bunch. How many? A number of kids. It was like they were the biggest
well, at one point, so
kids just we played
and we'll
games with
touch on
them.
this too. Um, we're not we're not active at the S anymore, but at
Yeah.
one point we were. I was primary president, and we had 6 or 7 nurseries, and that wasn't including the kids in primary.
Hmm.
That was just nursery age kids, but we had a lot of nurseries. And Rex and I, we just, they just, you cannot, they're healers in so many different ways and forms. And one of them that I love about children is they don't lie. You know, I even had one say, and this is when I was, had way less pounds on me than I do now. He just says to me, looks right at my stomach, Sister Rosine, you're gonna have a
Are you
baby.
serious?
I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I loved just,
That
you know,
reminds me of Ellen Scooch.
yes, yes, our daughter when she was younger.
Oh, what did she
Called
do?
my little
Should go
fat girl, she'd go,
Scoochie.
Scoochies. And I was like, thanks for that.
Abby's on here.
On to conquer the day.
Mason's Abby and our Abby's on here now.
Hi, guys. Love you.
But you guys, these kids.
The best Abbies in the world, right here, these two. The best Abbies.
Yeah, it's fitting, we just kind of naturally start talking about things that can help, in terms of having a healthy relationship with pain. And
Love you too, Shaw.
and there's some things that we're never going to be able to take an edge off, right? There's always going to be, and that's almost like a relationship with pain concept as well, is that coping will not end. As long as you're alive,
Yeah, that's
you're
where we
you're
stop
not
suffering.
going to free yourself of it.
But it doesn't have to be so painful.
Yeah.
Abby, I was telling Andrea, who's sugar free, right there, I was telling her about Caleb. Um, you need to go be friends with her and what she's she has our heart, Abby, so
Yeah.
you gotta go check
Yeah.
it out.
Sugar free coach. You guys follow each other. Abby,
Yeah, for sure.
she is someone that I trust. Abby, she is one of um,
She's a leader. She's a
the most amazing, wise
yeah,
leaders that I've
she
seen, and
was.
I trust her completely. So, well,
Much more shenanigans later.
much more shenanigans to come, you guys. I like
Oh,
how one of the things that's really motivating Elle and I is talking about the pain in a constructive area and way. I haven't always thought about what that's all going to lead to, but I guess it's just common sense that it's just a matter of time where that conversation includes more of what those things are for the world
Of
to
course,
heal.
that's how it should be. We're really excited. We're gonna be um, so I think I touched on this before, but I've got the initial. So every time or every week that we go live, we may go live more than once a week, but at least once a week, we're getting one of those big spin wheels and everything, and we're going to be coming up with different games, and Rex laughs because yes, this is my crazy ideas. But
That's,
I wanted
that's what you want.
one of my favorite things to do is share in my favorite things. And so, and I'll be explaining why they're my favorite things um, and always the best quality, for you guys. But we will be doing giveaways once a week. And the other thing that I wanted to say is I'm I don't consider myself any great artist, but I love art, and I will have to just show you some pieces, but I'll be doing my own artwork with um so I don't know if you guys are familiar with the term spoonies. If not, I would encourage you to go look that up. But essentially just is those who have chronic conditions, it's described as we only have so many spoons to give a day, right? And so we have to
Hmm.
allocate. Well, I came up with a while ago, and I have it on a ring that I wear every day that says a spoonful of sugar. And that just, here, if you want to show
Yeah,
them.
I was just gonna say, show that. Abby
Don't come
says,
at me, sugar free coach, for this. It's not the kind of sugar we were talking. No, spoonful of sugar. And that's going to be one of the giveaways.
see if we can see this.
And the reason is he's showing you, and you might not be able to see exactly. It says a spoonful of sugar. Okay, I couldn't get the R on there. But
Yeah.
anyway, that will be one of the gifts. And the reason I say this is because I don't care how many spoons I have left in a day. I promised myself a while ago that one of those spoons would be sugar, meaning that I give or that I do something for someone else. I don't care if it's a text, a message, sending flowers, whatever, but one of my spoons would be dedicated to that. And so I wear this every day, and I'll be doing my own artwork um, that will be hashtag spoonful of sugar. And
That'll be so that's
yeah,
awesome.
so
That's freaking awesome.
it is.
We
Because
gotta
no
give
matter
we
what,
gotta give
no
sugar
matter
free
how
a little
low
bit of
we,
credit
no
somehow.
matter how low we,
I
yeah.
said we gotta give sugar free somehow some credit for that, you know? Tag her name on that shit or something.
No matter what I'm trying to say is no matter how little energy we have, no matter how low we are, no matter, I promise you that giving something of yourself every day is what will save you, truly. And so that's kind of my own goal that I live by. That is that's the one thing I stick to. And yeah, so I'm excited. I'm excited to even get back into art. I haven't.
Yeah.
Been able to do a lot of it for a while, but
We were able to this week organize one of the nurseries a little bit more, so that was fun to kind of get
nurseries.
the Andy's room, kind of
Oh yeah, no,
made
we
some
have a
progress.
nursery for well, our grandkids, for our granddaughter right now. Yeah, Rex is saying
Yeah, we would
I was able to
do
get
that.
up for a while and organize her room, but and eventually Rex and I talked about it. He was showing me different parts of our home because I love to decorate. I love
Oh, that'll be fun.
artwork. Um,
Courtney, I wanted to back up before we leave you for this evening, you guys. Um, Courtney says HEDS is my ligaments and tendons are extremely loose. CIDP is an extreme form of GB, and I have an autoimmune illness.
so who's this?
This is Courtney. Yeah, so she shared a little bit.
Um,
She had, I think, recently, I don't know whether Misty shared something or, you could share how you stumbled
is
upon
it
us,
Courtney? Is
Courtney.
it Ehlers-Danlos? Is it similar to Ehlers-Danlos syndrome or disease?
You're,
Because I know they have like hyper connectivity with their tissue or something. Tissue, connective tissues. Is it similar to that?
she said absolutely. Oh, love it. I think she's responding
Yeah.
about just
Um,
the hypermobility.
yeah, so Ehlers-Danlos has that as well. If you guys want to follow somebody on YouTube that is amazing, incredible human being,
Uh-huh.
especially for her age. She's in her 20s. She's fighting for her life right now.
Yeah.
It's Amy's Life, or Chronically Amy. She has two channels, Amy's Life or Chronically Amy.
Okay.
You tell her I sent you, and I've been following her for years, and she has Ehlers-Danlos and POTS and some other things. Right now, I believe she's still in the hospital and has been for the past couple of months fighting for her life. So um,
Wow.
that's another thing that as we get to know each other, I'll be able to refer you guys to people that I've followed,
Yeah. The
much in
people
the
that
same
you've
way Rex has
followed for
done for
years.
me. So I love it. I love connecting. I absolutely love it. You guys are giving me so much more than I could ever give to you. I cannot tell you
Well,
what it means to look forward
I'm
to
so grateful
this.
to hear that things from that space and not just your YouTube is all kind of
Oh no. Yeah.
coming to a space that's helping you, you know. Um, Seth, thanks for joining. You might have to go and watch the recording, girl, because we're and follow
Well,
Seth if you haven't already, including both that are hearing this recording. She's a big part of the
I
collaboration
was just
video that we're
gonna
putting
ask.
together.
I was just gonna say, I know I've heard Seth, you've been on here before, and
Seth,
yeah,
yep, you got your you got your sugar-free Seth's Curly Dog,
got him on.
you know,
Got an amazing group of
undeserved
people.
undeserved love and attention from them and people for sure. Gil and I really forgive me for my ignorance, but what an opportunity to become more educated about all the varying conditions. But it's just encouraging to see that we're kind of coming together and helping with that too.
Yeah.
I have hypermobility Ehlers-Danlos syndrome,
Yeah. Wow.
Guillain-Barré syndrome, and Guillain-Barré syndrome.
That's wow. That's rough.
What
That's
the
just rough. We're talking. Warriors here. Warriors. I cannot, it's such an honor to have all of you in here.
Oh my gosh, guys, I can't even imagine. Let's keep this going and keep in the back of our mind. Um, I don't know, just
Yeah.
the blessing that we have of being able to reach out to people that are still learning their conditions for the first time.
Rex, I can't stop looking
Come on in, right here.
at me.
Sit down. Gosh, yeah.
We're goofballs, you guys. You gotta be right.
Well, I think it's time to go get a Chick-fil-A sandwich. And I have no affiliation with Chick-fil-A, but I do have a
Pretty
Chick-fil-A
sure that that's the stuff of his dreams.
That and Taco Bell is what I'm made of.
That's why I was telling Andrea. Oh no, he eats.
Ooh, I eat. I gotta.
He's I'm not saying anything about his physique here, and I understand. I'm just saying he doesn't forget to eat.
Yeah, well,
We
I've got a
tease him
little bit
about
I
it.
gotta lose.
No,
I
watch your mouth.
I gotta get back working out and running, and I gotta train for the Spartan in
I know
Utah when it comes after the COVID.
you
I
gotta catch up to me. I don't know what you're doing.
I gotta get back into my keto and my intermittent fasting. I was good, but oh, I fell off the
I can
bandwagon a little bit.
run Ragnars around here. I don't know what you're talking about. Is it
What's that?
Ragnars?
What?
What are the races called?
Did,
Ragnar?
did you
Ragnar?
say Ragnar's?
Yes.
It's the Spartan.
Oh, wait, I'm thinking of Ragnar from Vikings.
Right? Yeah.
Oh,
Well, that's because we watched Vikings, and Ragnar's a
I was
Viking.
thinking
Yeah.
Ragnar. I'm sorry.
No, Spartan is, oh
Different,
goodness,
I know.
they're like
Running Ragnar.
different country altogether. It's okay. Um, welcome to the Misty Shenanigans. We're not always in
It
pain.
is. Oh, yeah, it's not. It will happen often.
And Courtney's having some
Well,
frozen
once I can
grapes.
run with Ragnar, I'll be happy to join you in your Spartan.
Oh, Ragnar. Oh, that's a gene freak. He's a good-looking guy. He puts me to shame. If you want to watch a show that puts me to shame, watch Outlander. Jamie, I'm coming for
Oh
you.
my word. I am convinced that I'm Scottish now.
Hi.
That's it. I'm done.
I
I'm
don't
from
care.
Scotland. I am gonna wear a kilt. No, that's for men, right?
Yeah, you could wear a kilt if you want, but
I'm
yeah,
gonna have Rex wear a kilt.
I'm not responsible for any self-editing of the visuals in the movie or associated it in any way. But Jamie, you put even the best of us to shame, I will say. Oh, Sugar Free likes it. Listen, I'll tell you, I'm pretty picky when it comes to film, and there's three that is the best. Game of Thrones, Outlander, and Lord of the Rings stuff.
Oh,
And Star Wars is a color
the
force.
Vikings too.
And Vikings. Yeah, I'm pretty picky.
But I think I'm on Outlander. I think I've watched Outlander three full times now.
Yeah, I just
And it's Jamie's fault, really, you know.
yeah, I have a love for film. To me represents, and that's another topic we'll get into, but
That's me, Andrea. I am
I
big.
film is the encapsulation of all art on the planet, in my view. The
But it has to be
musicians, the
worthy.
I just love
It's got to have some
costume.
really good.
Yeah. Oh, Ellen's
Yes,
here.
yes.
Hi,
Hi,
Ellen.
Ellie.
Thanks for joining for the last 5 minutes. You'll have to go watch the video on YouTube in about a day after I upload it.
Ellie's our oldest, and we can't. Well, you guys have heard me. We can't say enough about our kiddos. They're angels on earth. So can't wait for you guys to meet them.
Yeah. Yeah, just so that you're aware, for those that Abby 3 is our youngest, and then Ellen's just joined. Both of them are going to be on the collab video, by the way.
And our
But
son.
Ellen Dot and 17, so follow each other. They're top notch. You can see that I got a wife that knows what she's doing, and I am in there to give credit a little bit, I guess. But it's
Know what
mostly
else
her.
to do with it?
I mean, you can only do so much when you spend most of your life at work, you
No,
know.
you are very, very much one of the greatest fathers out there.
Oh, thank you. Well, we love you
I
guys. Thanks for
understand.
just hanging with us. And I think it's been great and fitting to kind of see that, you know what,
Oh,
there's always going to be pain, but some of these things that are hopefully
yeah.
some things that speak to you of things that we can have more of. Laugh. Nell's probably going to wake up tomorrow morning, bless her heart, and she's going to need her water and she's going to need
Yeah.
some help with
Some
some.
of the worst is when the pain is right there when I wake up. And so 2 mornings ago it was so bad I threw up and it's just it's an hour by hour thing, but
Yeah.
we're gonna
And
do it. We're doing it.
And Courtney, I usually don't do this, but I'm going to go out on a limb. I can sense you're kindred and trustworthy enough here. I'll get to know you a little bit more, but I've made you a moderator. So I appreciate you joining. And
And thank you for sharing, Courtney.
yeah, absolutely. She says she's excited to meet us and
Yeah,
can't wait to know us more. But
and you'll see more of the shenanigans. I will say things wrong. Sometimes I won't know what country I'm talking about. Like just now, yeah, it's a show,
it is a
and
show.
it's even better when the girls are around. So we'll get them on.
And
Right?
fist bump Seth for Game of Thrones.
Oh, that was sweet.
Holy shnikes. That is a work of art. So yes, I am huge, huge Game
Yeah,
of
we
Thrones.
are trapped in the mountains of Utah, as well.
We are in Eagle. Yep, we are in Eagle Mountain, Utah. We live just northwest of the Utah Lake. We um, love it here.
We love it here, but I belong in France.
You belong in France.
Yes.
Yep, and Courtney's in Texas. That's a whole
Oh,
other story to get into.
so our I'm just gonna
Franklin,
say future son-in-law. I
a
don't care what you think.
Franklin,
He is, yeah, I
Franklin,
call him Frank. Yeah.
Franklin,
Our oldest daughter
Franklin,
Ellen.
Frank.
Our oldest daughter Ellen. Her boyfriend is moving from Texas um, to be with Ellen
Yeah,
and attend nursing school here. So, and he adores Texas. So,
they'll probably get
yeah,
married and give me some really incredibly crazy, cute
Frank. Yeah.
children, grandchildren,
Oh,
angels. So there's that.
we'll win. Yeah. And we'll bring Minnie on more, our little grandbaby. We've gotten permission for
Yeah,
that.
yep, yep. Well, that's my posts on here. As you browse through it, then it's kind of my journal. It's kind of a badass guy kind of journal, if you want to put it that way. I don't know how guys journal, but that's maybe a cool way to.
I'm good. I can't.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I just need some Chick-fil-A. I'm sorry.
I'm
You have to
sorry.
forgive me. What?
Forgive me.
Forgive me. Forgive
Oh,
me.
you're just funny. That was fun.
It was fun.
I will do my best to be on here with Rex live next week.
That'll be.
So I'm just saying, it might knock your socks off.
Yeah, Ellen says, go get me some food. Yeah.
Why haven't you eaten yet?
I think the only thing that I had all day today was egg, tortilla, wispy things with cheese rolled up. think I had 3 of those and some
Oh, you did
Gatorade
graduate
Zero
from
C.
Dallas?
I
Or
can
from
go eat it.
school in Dallas?
I can
That's
eat the whole chicken coop right now.
Dude, Virginia's beautiful.
Nutrients.
Rex
I
is
need
hungry, you
nutrients.
guys.
That's another. How do I? No, I'm not probably saying it wrong. How does he do the chips?
Well, he doesn't blow it towards his own face.
Oh, we
You
have.
gotta let the hand down.
I'm
He
not.
goes like
Yeah. We love Nacho Libre. We could probably spend
well, and I
the
love
whole one.
toast.
All right. Well, we're gonna go get some nutrients. Have some chicken. Maybe watch a show and common. Let's see. Sugar free says. I don't see a recommendation up there. I think Brighton. No, is
Yeah,
that one? Can't see.
we're all about Cali and Colorado too. Cali is my other home.
Brighton.
We don't get there enough.
Oh, Julie gets the last minute. Hi, Julie.
Julie's getting on to say, can you two
Yeah, she's
get
probably.
in the gear?
I think she's.
Julie's our really good friend that lives with us down in studio apartment, and she's it's fun because
She's
they come
Ju-
up and do shows with me and
J Girl
take
eight
care
five
of me.
seven. Guys, if you're not following J Girl 857, follow her. One of the best people ever. She
Yes,
is family.
she is family.
We
Her
love you,
family is
Julie. You know we do. And watch for her merch. And you want to know what her merch is going to be?
family. Yeah. No,
Hold on. I don't want to
have the
mess this up.
girls. No, have the girls guess. Have the girls guess.
Abby and Ellen, go. What would
If
what would
Julie has
Julie's merch
merch, what
be?
would it say?
I can't
I'll
I
say
can't
it.
believe I forgot what she says. Hold on, let me think.
Oh, Bridgerton's awesome.
Is it? That's it. Oh, hold on. Light's freaking out. I'll give you a hint, Ellen. G. Good. She says it right after we help
We'll
give
do
her food.
any yeah.
Gr. Isn't it? Grazie.
Yes,
Grazie.
Ellen.
There she goes. Grazie. I don't know where the hell that comes from, but every
Rex is
time.
always teasing her now that that's gonna
Grazie.
be your merch.
Grazie. I'm like, that is going to be your merch. My friend. So anyway, I love Julie. That's so fun.
Grazie.
You guys, thank you. This will be uploaded to YouTube probably tomorrow. It's going to be an exciting week. Let it just have it take its course.
Julie's so the way she does.
Yeah, LOL, grazie, grazie, grazie.
Grazie.
I do love that.
We
But
will see you. We'll be seeing you what Thursday, Rex?
yeah, yes, we will be seeing you Thursday, March 4th. We're going to turn TikTok purple. We are going to increase awareness to chronic pain and suffering, hopefully in a way that TikTok hasn't seen yet, and hopefully in a way that reaches the people that are in the hospitals and in the beds that feel the worst human experiences
Yeah,
that you can be having, and that we help to
we need to
change.
find them.
So thank you for
Love you
helping join us.
so much.
Um,
Thank you for all the purple hearts. Yes, purple hearts. All
spread the
right,
message,
purple
whether,
hearts. I mean, if I could have it puff pink, I would, but you know,
what do you
why
say?
all the purple hearts.
Oh yeah,
If I could
I,
have puff pink hearts,
oh
I'd
yeah,
have
you missed that, Courtney. Ironically, Nell doesn't like
purple too.
purple. I'm gonna be a purple. She'll have to forgive me for being on purple.
No, it's not that much of a deal.
Um,
Like,
and I don't really quite know what to expect. If you want to understand kind of how things have evolved with Mandy, Takita and Misty Marvin being involved, and it's kind of, there's some posts and some duet those posts and create your own posts and kind of increase that awareness. If the post that I had shares the information helps you do that, then so be it. But I honestly don't know who I'm going to be able to FaceTime. I don't know if Mandy's going to be there. I don't know if she's going to join in comment. Santa may, I talked with him a little bit today, chatting. He may end up joining. He may choosing to do a duet. So
However it happens, it will
whatever happens, it's going to be fun. And let's
doesn't
just
matter because we have the best group right here right now.
100%, 100%. There are people like you guys that are also kindred that have experiences that they're going through, or they know people that they care about that do. And
Yeah.
that's what Nell's dream is to reach those people that are too often in dark places and they're underrepresented.
And we're gonna find them.
We're going to find them. Damn it.
Yep.
We're going to find them. So we love you. Signing off, Rex and Nell. Let's make it a turn TikTok Purple Week, you guys. March 4th. Love ya.